Hey, anyway, I don't want to keep this woman waiting. She's a very important woman.
Who is this woman?
This woman is a school teacher. What grade does she teach?
6th grade.
Okay. For those of you who were with us yesterday, you'll be interested in this.
Teachers are very important. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, especially to our general manager, Tom Chiusano, who obviously skipped the 6th grade and didn't pay attention. Look, our general manager wrote a memo that I read here on the air yesterday, and he doesn't often write memos, but I read it on the air, and I was shocked by what I thought was one of the worst written memos I have ever seen in the history of memo writing.
And you've been memoed to death.
I've been memoed by the best of them.
But let me just say, you couldn't even read the entire memo.
Right.
In the first 4 sentences, you found so many mistakes, there was no need to go on.
Right. And I'm going to allow what I have up here in the studio is, but maybe we can bring the teacher in now, Gary. I think this is Mrs. Schwartz. I don't know who this is, actually. But we're going to find out in a second. But she teaches 6th grade. And I said, would you come in and grade Tom's memo? Because in my mind, when someone gave it to me, I thought it was a joke memo that people were saying, hey, look, Tom wrote a memo.
Well, when you said you had a memo there that Tom had written and it was bad, I thought it's just going to be, a silly subject. I had no idea that you were going to talk about the way it was written.
Now, I don't feel comfortable calling the teacher Maria. I think it should be Mrs. whatever your name is.
I'm Mrs. Kyano.
Hi, Mrs. Kyano.
Good morning, Howard. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mrs. Kyano.
Well, I would have loved you as a teacher. Wow. Hubba. The students must all have crushes.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Baby 6 weeks ago.
Really?
What do you think of that? Look at her.
Oh, God.
Thank you.
I'd like to see you like in a year when you really pull yourself together.
I go to karate, so I'm working out.
Is that right? That works. Man, you got a lovely face and body. Boy, I would have loved to teach you like every teacher I had was a battle axe. I'll tell you that. Oh, this is the new breed of teacher, Mrs. Kyano.
Thank you.
Well, I'll maintain some decorum because obviously students are looking up to you.
Yes, that's
and
right.
you have to respect the teacher.
We respect you, Mrs. Kyano.
Thank you, Howard.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Jackie, seriously, do you ever have a teacher that looked like that?
Absolutely not.
All right.
Mrs. Fox, Mrs. Flood, average age 63.
Yeah, Mrs. Lazar, 73 years old, way past retirement age.
I never told you about my teacher who used to come in with hickeys on her neck.
Really? Well, you had a hot teacher.
It's crazy.
I had a teacher, Mrs. Carr, in 5th grade. She had like psoriasis all over her arm. She was scratching her arm or something. I don't
Mrs.
know.
Lazar with a mustache thicker than Gary's.
Really?
Wait, I got you the old beat. I had 70-year-old women, and they were all Miss.
Really?
They'd never been married.
Never married. No guy had ever
Ms.
touched me.
Gambino.
I had one teacher that had to wear a wig. She was bald.
Oh.
And she wasn't like, she didn't have chemo or anything. She didn't have any hair.
Wow.
And the wig was always sliding off her face. And
We had one art teacher who was maybe 25 with huge cans. It was like, you look forward to art.
don't say that in front of Mrs. Kyano.
Oh, I'm
you
sorry,
putz.
Mrs. Kyano.
You are the world's biggest putz.
Sorry.
I apologize, Mrs. Kyano.
Sorry, Mrs. Kyano.
Now, Mrs. Kyano, you don't sit on the edge of your desk with your legs crossed, do you?
I bet you she doesn't realize it.
All the kids drop their pencils.
We had one student teacher who was good looking and would wear, what are you wearing, a dress?
No, his pants.
Oh, your pants on. Well, But anyway, but you wear dresses sometimes, right?
Yeah, I usually wear dresses.
We had a hot teacher like you, and it was like, she wasn't like my teacher. She was a student. She'd come in once a week. She would sit on, Mrs. Weinstock, she would sit on the desk and cross her legs. She didn't realize she was reading stories and stuff. I'd be like passing out trying to look up her dress. I couldn't even pay attention.
You didn't even know what the story was.
You don't teach therapeutic massage, do you?
No.
Oh, because that would be some class.
Sorry.
Oh, I'd love to have you as a teacher.
Maybe we'd better let Mrs. Kyano do what she's here for.
Yeah, right. Okay. A bunch of horny guys.
Massage.
Yeah, right. Mrs. Kyano, can we have a massage, please? So, Mrs. Kyano, you are a 6th grade teacher, obviously very qualified. You teach English, math, all of the different...
Right.
Okay.
I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade English.
Have you had a chance... Now, hanging behind... Where's Tom? Why doesn't he come in for his 6th grade?
I really think he should be here because I want him to learn.
Do we have a dunce cap? Oh. When you have a particularly moronic student.
Well, wait a minute. Mrs. Kyano, how old are you when you're in the 6th grade?
You're 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
My daughter's in the 6th grade.
Okay, so Tom, we'll have to see what level Tom is on. I want you to give him...
I know what level he's on.
Well, don't give it away yet, Mrs. Kyano. All right. Mrs. Kyano, meet your student.
No,
what? Where is he?
He's. You know what? I think he finally pushed the right button on Tom. He's pretty upset.
Is he?
He said he spoke to you about this yesterday.
No, he didn't.
That was after he told me F you. But he said he spoke to you.
He did come in and say he didn't want this.
He said, he said he told you yesterday that he didn't want this.
Yeah, but he seemed to be joking.
Well, he wasn't.
Oh, Tom, don't come in and don't be a baby. Mrs. Kyano's here to help you.
And
When
besides,
did this conversation happen?
He walked in after I made fun of his memo. And
really? In here?
Yeah, and into my studio.
Yeah.
Where I forbid him from coming. Are there, Mrs. Kyano, this is Tom Chiusano.
Student.
Tom, you want to put a dunce cap on?
I'll be coming.
I will say that, it's if you only held everybody in the room the same standard, I'll go any joke. So go ahead, proceed.
Oh,
everyone's held to the same standard.
We're all going to be held to the same standard from now on.
I have not seen that.
Okay.
I have definitely not seen that.
Mrs. Kyano, don't try to do any shtick. I mean, you're a teacher. I would like you to evaluate Tom's memo.
Point out where, punctuation should be and so forth.
Yes.
Okay.
Tom is the worst. Tom, I got to tell you something. I used to make fun that you were, like, stupid. I'm telling you, this proves it.
No, he must be dyslexic, Howard.
Are you dyslexic? You want to say anything in your own defense before Mrs. Kyano starts?
I go back to my original statement of yesterday.
All right, let's see what happens.
See, I don't think he's stupid. I think he got a problem.
I think I have a real good command of the language.
Maybe.
Let's
ask Mrs. Kyano.
Salt and pepper.
Now, Mrs. Kyano, if you would please critique.
Okay, well, the heading is okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's good. Okay.
Here's one for Tom.
And as Howard was reading this yesterday, I'm feeding my baby in the kitchen, and I listened, and I turned up the volume because I thought that you had left something out when you were reading it, or I thought that I didn't hear you correctly. And then you read it again, and I said, he didn't leave something out. This was just not well written.
Okay, start with the first sentence.
Admit it. I admit that.
Last week, the U.S. Senate had the opportunity to help you by helping the radio industry continue to grow. I would call this
They dropped the ball.
They dropped the ball.
That's all one sentence.
Yeah.
Right.
So last week, the U.S. Senate had the opportunity to help you by helping the radio industry continue to grow. They dropped the ball. First of all, last week the U.S. Senate had the opportunity to help you by helping the radio industry to grow. I would call this awkward. I would tell them it's just awkward.
Yeah, there's no other word for it.
Right.
They
dropped the ball. Okay, Tom, you could end the sentence here. I'm going to put a period.
I know.
So it's last week.
So he should have had a period and a capital T.
No argument.
Let me ask you something about all the commas in that sentence.
We have a problem.
We've established that. Okay, we've already established that.
Calm down. This is the teacher's here. Mrs. Kyano's
You're
running
not my
the class.
teacher.
Because Mrs. Kyano, look at the sentence. Let me just see this for a second. Because last week, the U.S. Senate had the opportunity to help you, comma, by helping the radio industry continue to grow, comma, they dropped the ball, period.
Okay.
Haven't we established that?
So shouldn't those commas be circled because somehow I don't know what they're doing?
Yeah, why they're commas?
This comma's okay.
Yeah.
Separates two clauses. This one shouldn't be there. First of all, I would put for my kids, who is they?
Yeah, who dropped the ball?
Who is they?
Who is they?
Yeah, who is they? They dropped the ball.
The
Who?
radio industry or the U.S. Senate? So if you want to end your sentence and say the U.S. Who did this? Oh, the U.S. Senate
Look at
dropped
Tom's
the ball, or the U.S. Senate failed to help you.
I'm sorry.
Tom's already glazing over, not even paying attention.
How would your face feel?
I'd be pretty embarrassed by this. All right, go ahead. Now, let me read the next sentence.
Okay.
Fortunately, it is not too late, comma. This is a democracy, and we've got a voice, period.
All right, you should have a comma after this. Fortunately, comma, it is not too late. You should have a period here. Capital T. This is a democracy, and we've got a voice. That's not.
I didn't want to copy
Let me ask
Hemingway's
one
style.
thing, though.
Yeah.
Tom starts a new paragraph there. Mm-hmm. Is that okay? I mean, his first paragraph, he made one sentence.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're going to leave it because we'll.
You know what, Robin? There are so many bigger offenses that you can't even critique that.
I just want to prepare you. You know where the button is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. All right, now the next sentence is my favorite. Let me read this one, Mrs. Kyano. Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't start. Good morning, Mrs. Kyano.
Good morning, Tom.
Yeah, Tom, you're going to be demoted.
You're going to be a delinquent.
I can't wait to the end of this bit when she tells me what grade level you're on. In WXRK's case, it's, comma.
The voice is 62 people.
No.
Don't.
I'm reading what's on the paper. In WXRK's case, comma, it's 62 people strong, and I urge each and every one of you to exercise yours, comma, by writing to your senators.
Okay.
Take it away,
Go,
Mrs. Kyano.
All right. In WXRK's case, comma.
Yeah.
Okay, you're starting this off comma.
Okay.
It's no comma here. I crossed this out. No
Gotcha.
comma after. 62 should be spelled out because it's less than 100. Anything less than 100 should be written.
Of course. Oh, no. You don't. You write out the word 62.
Right. Anything over 100, you can write the number. Anything less, you have to.
That's a minor point. Go ahead.
Okay. It's 62 people strong, comma, because you
should have a comma there.
Right. You're combining a simple sentence, and you're making this into a comma.
Would it be fair to say that he puts commas where there shouldn't be commas, and then leaves out the commas when they're supposed to be? You're comma crazy.
He is reckless with his
Why don't you have somebody proofread? You know the whole damn station's going to read this.
Okay, so you're going to join these two sentences. You need a comma.
And where's your secretary in all of this? Denise.
Third grade grad?
Yeah. Comatose. Go ahead.
Comma, you're joining the two sentences. And I urge each and every one of you to exercise yours. Exercise what?
Right.
So
exactly.
This is unclear. And you don't need a comma here, by writing to your senators.
It should be exercise your voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. New paragraph here. That was good. Radio is based.
Can I count? Now we've done three sentences. We've done three sentences. I'll tell you how many errors. 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 13 so far.
And how many?
And there's only 30.
There's only 30 words.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So how many sentences is that?
3.
3 sentences. How many?
13 mistakes.
Whoa.
and then we're only 3 sentences into this thing.
Okay. You want
look at that page?
You want to read the next one, Howard?
Okay. Radio is Gary. Move the mic a little bit. Radio is faced with unfair ownership rules, comma. There are 1,000 TV stations within the broadcast industry, 12 of which can be owned by any company. Period.
Read that again.
Mrs. Kyano, just tell us what's wrong.
Again, it's very awkward. Radio is faced with unshared...
You think that's awkward? How do you think this feels?
How did TV get into that sentence?
I don't even know what Tom's writing about in that one. Radio is faced with unfair ownership rules.
You should have a period.
That's a period. That's the end of the sentence.
Okay, your thought is complete. End of sentence.
Then it should be
he wouldn't know.
There are 1,000 TV stations within the broadcast industry.
I've read a certain book. Don't.
All right, capital T.
You know what, Mrs. Cavano, before I embarrass Tom anymore, let's. You are really pretty, Mrs. Cavano. So,
you can't keep your mind on English.
Yeah,
you might be my third grade teacher.
Yes, obviously you didn't pay attention in third grade, Tom.
I was looking at other things.
Ms. Cavano, are there any other big mistakes in the whole next rest of this thing? I mean, like, I see things like...
Sort of...
Okay, the TV stations, like Robin said, what is a TV station doing in with the radio?
Right.
Well, they're obviously for comparison, because there are 1,000 TV stations. Any company can... Wait, she asked me why it's there, and I'm telling you why it's there.
Well, we're telling you that should have been one sentence, and then this should have been another sentence.
Right.
I read your book.
So
she was smart enough to have a proofreader.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He's found mistakes.
There's a mistake on the cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, co-host has a hyphen between it. Between co and host.
Right.
It's 2 separate words.
Uh-oh. Wait till your book comes out. Wait till your book comes out. We have your press conference on the air.
I didn't write that cover.
Mrs. Cavano's going to be in there.
Didn't have anything to do with the cover.
Just ruined Robin's day.
And if you're still proofreading, Robin is not one of the hosts of the Howard Stern E-interview show. That was a different show.
Oh, big deal. Someone made a mistake there on the back.
Go
ahead.
That's why I talked about standards.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Plenty of mistakes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna. What I do with the kids, I have like a little conference with them. They handed this will be your rough
I
draft.
should be talking in a higher voice.
Well, this would be your rough draft, and I would be conferencing.
Okay,
like
Ms. Cavano.
Mrs. Cavano, you got to like this part. If you need help, please see me, Denise, or Liz.
All right, this was a problem too. Are we skipping ahead here?
Wait,
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Wait, I think one of the worst errors is right there.
Well,
there are 10,000 radio stations.
Yeah, this is I want to go over this because there are 1,000 TV stations within the broadcast industry, 12 of which can be owned by any company.
Right.
There's different common errors and things in here. There are 10,000 radio stations. Simple math says that Infinity should be able to own 120 of them. Why? Why? You have to give an explanation.
Yeah, why should Infinity be allowed to own them?
What's a simple math?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know.
Simple math says.
Simple math is...
Yeah, but you have to explain the rule then that governs why the Infinity should be able to own them. You didn't explain it. Why? You're just...
I love this. Look at Tom's face. Tom, you know she's right.
Just grammatically, between radio stations and simple math, there's got to be some kind of punctuation.
Right.
Right. There are 10,000.
and.
You could put a semicolon here.
Right.
Okay. Simple. But you.
Tom's really uncomfortable.
But you have to
absolutely.
explain.
I love this.
Absolutely.
I love when people are uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know you do.
I do.
You really have to explain. When you write something, you should always write it as if somebody is coming in like me that doesn't know anything about the radio industry.
And believe me, most people who work here don't, including Tom.
I was going to say, Tom is writing it like he doesn't know.
Yeah, Tom doesn't know a thing about it either.
So you should always explain yourself. Always give a little background. So you have to explain why Infinity should be able to own 120 of them. What's
Because
the rule?
because TV companies can own 12 of 1,000. If you the proportionality
that's
is
TV. This is radio.
You're radio.
What's the
Right.
you know?
Don't try to defend it, Tom. It only gets worse. Uh-oh, he's getting
let
mad
us
at me.
get through
He
it.
just shot me a look. He's
Let
going to
us
cry.
get through
Are you going
it,
to cry?
Tom.
No.
You look like you're almost in tears.
No, believe me, I'm
All
not
right, all right,
almost
take
in
it
tears.
easy.
The only thing.
You're good at golf. Oh.
You could beat her at golf. That's it.
Yeah, let's see. Hey, Mrs. Kyano, let's see you play Tom in golf.
I lose.
I know. All right. Well, there you go.
The only thing, the major problem, and it's not a major problem in the fourth paragraph, is cable, telephone, computer, satellite. They don't have to be capitalized. And we are willing to compete. There should be a period here, capital W. So that wasn't too bad.
All right. Yeah, there's only 97 mistakes.
Okay. This is a problem, too, and I tell this to my kids. I've attached some discussion points Mel has given to me. Who
Yeah.
is Mel?
Mel is his god.
Everybody knows.
Everyone in the company knows who Mel is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing he wouldn't have to explain.
Oh, look
to
at Tom.
people
Tom's like,
who
everyone
sent that
knows,
memo.
okay? Everyone knows
You
who Mel
said
is.
it. No,
Okay.
you said
All
it.
right, okay. I'm giving you a break on that one.
Thank you.
Okay, there doesn't have to be...
Mel's the guy who forced Tom to make this memo in the first place.
You know what I would like to point out?
Yeah.
Tom has even, I've seen Mel's signature when he does a memo.
Yeah.
Tom has taken that style.
Yeah, I see. I know. Yeah, well, that's who he worships. Yeah, that's good. Wait till Mel actually reads this memo and realizes what you wrote.
He's been kind enough not to comment on
All
it.
right.
Okay, I've
So
attached
far.
some discussion points Mel has given to me, as well as he doesn't need a comma here, a letter I'm sending. Okay, I really want, Howard, somebody to proofread the letter going to the House of
Ms.
Representatives.
Kyano, I think you're overstepping.
Well, no, Mrs. Kyano makes a good point. What she's saying is,
Was
Tom offers his help in helping any of us write a letter to our
Yeah.
senators.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, I think Tom should not be the one to help. I am saying, has anybody actually written to the senators yet?
I believe so, yeah.
Really? Have you given them help?
No.
All right, see. Well, there you go. Well, that's fine then.
okay. This is okay. I checked the spelling for all the senators'
Thank you.
names. That's
Thank you
okay.
so much.
Right.
If you need help, comma, please see me, Denise, or Liz would be happy to type for you. No. Me, Denise, or Liz would be happy. Who's going to do the typing? You, Denise, or Liz? If
Right.
you need help, please see me, period. Denise or Liz would be happy to type
Yeah,
for you.
you're the general manager. You can't be typing letters to the senator.
That wasn't what I meant.
Really?
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Well, at least see, you got to say what you mean. Oh, man. All right, but let's not embarrass
No
Tom.
further torture.
Should there be a
Have you had
comma?
enough?
On one, should there be a comma between to write your senators, comma, simply
Yes,
address
I'm
your
sorry.
letter to?
To write your senators, comma, simply address your letter.
See how hard it is to catch these mistakes?
There's so many. All right, Mrs. Kyano, listen. Well, seriously, a letter like this, what would you grade someone on this?
Okay. If this were one of my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students, and
Yes.
I've been teaching them, I would give them a D, Howard.
A D.
It's better than any grade I ever got in English. I'm improved.
What level would he be on? A third grade level?
Gary,
When
don't
I
even think
talked to
about it.
Gary yesterday, I said 4th or 5th grade. Low.
Fourth or fifth grade level?
Low 4th or 5th grade.
Wow. I smell summer school. Tom, I have a hat for you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Yes,
No, you don't.
Says dunce. You got to put it on. Come on. All right, just like this. You just put it on. Let's zero. You can't be embarrassed.
This would make you pay more attention to your memos.
If you wore this dunce hat, then you would pay more attention when you. No. Seriously, when you write a
There's
memo
a place
next
I'm
time,
thinking about that dunce hat.
let us
I don't
proofread
mind
it.
though.
Don't be embarrassed to bring it to me and let me
No, I'd
proofread
be
it. I'm pretty
happy
good
to
at
bring
this
it on.
stuff. All right.
Especially if it's going to like a senator or House representative.
Yeah, and everyone in the company read this memo. I think that you really okay.
I appreciate
All
your
right.
constructive
All right.
help.
All
Oh, and Howard, before Tom leaves now,
Uh-oh.
Giving him another assignment?
I have worksheets for him.
Oh, look at that. Creative writing and penmanship. Fill them out. Try it.
I have
absolutely.
grammar. It tells each
Thank you.
each
Thank you.
great
Thank you, Mr.
grammar.
Because I don't think you've actually studied the semicolon, have you, Tom?
Definitely not.
There was no use of that one in there.
I have a worksheet for simple
Thank you.
sentences and compound sentences. He really has a problem with that. And then problem with problems with punctuation. So there's period, question mark, exclamation point, and Howard, the crying
When do I
comma
return this in?
worksheet.
Ooh, crying comma worksheet.
It's perfect.
And that teaches you how to use a comma?
Yes, it teaches you how to use a comma. And then first day feelings, I give this to my kids on the first day. This is completing.
You don't want to know what I'm feeling.
Completing sentences.
Completing sentences. Yeah. Because Tom doesn't complete his sentences. He runs on.
For example, some of the questions on here is when I feel sad, it helps to... He has to complete that.
It helps to go golfing.
Right. If I could change my name, I'd call myself...
Mel.
I wish I were as tall as...
the biggest golfer in the world.
So that's what this worksheet is.
Very good. Tom, would you like it? Seriously. It's yours.
Oh, I'm dying for it.
Don't be embarrassed to take it. You obviously need some help. What's the big deal? Don't be too much of a baby about it.
Come on.
Here, work on this.
Thank you.
Mrs. Kyano, I want to thank you for coming in and helping Tom with his grammar.
Well, I hope he, works on those sheets.
I'll be better.
Yeah, because he is an executive of a company. He should write better, right?
When is Tom's assignment due?
Well, as soon as possible. I'll give him the weekend.
Tom, fill out those sheets. You'll have them ready for Mrs. Kyano on Monday. And, Tom, now it's recess. You can go play or go do whatever you want back there, okay?
Howard, what made me nervous is yesterday when I was listening to this, some teachers let him get through high school writing in this manner, and then he got through college writing, and then he got a well-paying job writing like this.
And that encourages other young people to ignore their grammar and ignore all, because they say, hey, why do I need it if Tom didn't need it?
So that's what worries me.
The system has failed, Tom.
Right.
Some people do, some people teach.
Well, if that's your attitude, very good. Okay. Well, Mrs. Kyano, obviously a little knock against your profession.
The only cheap shot I could get in. Sorry, I had to go for it.
The safety net slingshotted Tom into a high position.
It's true. Tom says, hey, for all your grammar and everything you know, he's making a couple of $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
he doesn't need.
He laughs at you.
That's right.
But I can write a letter. So.
Absolutely. You have nothing to be embarrassed about, Mrs. Kyano.
Absolutely.
Tom?
Because I won't answer. I'll be nice. I'll be a gentleman.
Right. Say it, Tom. Nya, 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 nya. Mrs. Kyano, I want to thank you for helping us out here with Tom. You're a lovely teacher.
When do I clap the erasers?
You should clap them against your head and be thoroughly embarrassed. I'm shocked by that memo. Don't write any more memos.
Thank you very much.
All right. Our general manager, the great Tom Chiusano, who has a lot of people skills, not writing skills. And Mrs. Kyano, the beautiful, very charming 6th grade teacher.
Thank you.
Hubba. Just had a baby 6 weeks ago. Snapped right back into shape.
You look great.
Thank you.
Brown nose Tom. That'll help. That's how he got through.
That's it.
Every time we make
told
mistakes.
The teachers she looked great.
Yes. So, Mrs. Kyano, thank you. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after this. All I know is we brought in the teacher to critique Tom, our general manager's memo.
Yeah.
And he usually is a real good sport about everything. But he was out in the hall screaming, because we blew up, for the e-camera, we blew up big copies of the memo so the teacher could critique him.
Right.
And he said, I didn't give my permission to have my memo used on TV.
Oh.
So they were like, what do you, well, gee.
Was this just now?
Yeah, it got real ugly out in the hall.
Oh, boy.
Because he doesn't want his memo critiqued. I heard it got real ugly.
Wow.
I hear you're really pissed.
Well, I'm over it.
Calm down, man. You wrote one lousy memo. You'll come back.
Did I go along with the joke?
Yes.
Okay.
I heard you were out in the hall getting really angry.
I wasn't out in the hall. I was in the E, and I did say. I remember giving permission for this to be used. Right?
You should have seen me trying to put a good spin on it out in the hall.
I'm sorry.
Take it easy, man. It's just a memo. It wasn't that bad.
I told Tom that he had made hundreds and thousands of people feel better this morning.
Right. Yeah, they feel like there's hope.
Through the same thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel better for that.
But you know what I did? I took the 2 big signs and I put them in your office. So you can hang them up on the wall.
I'll have them framed. Would you autograph them for me?
This really got to you, huh?
Yeah. Do I like looking stupid? No.
No.
Did I write? Was it poorly written? Yes.
Yes.
So no argument.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I feel now I'm feeling kind of bad.
I suddenly realized what happened as we were going through it. Tom really did dash off this memo. He really did.
Yeah, that's what must have happened. You probably were busy. You just got back from Hawaii. And
he had to pass out pineapples.
Yeah, he could have done a much better job.
I'm not making excuses.
Well, I'm going to make it for you.
No, you don't have to.
I apologize.
Did you get your pineapple yesterday?
What was that?
I don't know. He was walking around passing out pineapples.
Yeah, you did. Well, maybe a little more attention to the memos and less attention to the pineapples. He's a good guy. He's a good-hearted guy. We could say that. You're a good-hearted guy. You really are. I like you. I left you the memo in your office, the big cardboard signs.
So I'm going to get it framed.
Yeah, seriously.
Backwards.
Play it up.
I'm going to get it framed backwards.
Right.
Actually, I told him I'd like to Xerox his workbook and take it home. I
bet you can't even fill out that workbook. I'm telling you, man.
You know what? You'll never find out.
Oh, okay. Hi, Tom. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding.
No
Although, as the E people explained, it was a blanket release that he sent.
No.
Yes.
No.
There's a big argument going on.
Tom has called a lawyer.
Tom, you better get your lawyer on.
No problem.
Hey, Tom, who was rallying around you out in the hall? Who was rallying?
Carol came over from traffic, and she said, "You people are so cruel."
Really? Yeah. Oh, Carol, she's just sucking up to Tom.
And then she whispered to me, "It was really funny."
Absolutely. That's why I went along with it. It was funny.
It was funny. It was just, come on. Obviously, it was something that you wrote in haste. All right. Thank you, Tom. He can write much better. He's working on a new memo.
Absolutely.
Go write another memo. All right, there he goes. He's our general manager, and we love him. You're plenty smart, but you got street smarts. That's all. On the golf course, no one can touch you. That's all. Dumb as a wall. All right, very good.